over in the different time zones, different continents, different countries, wherever you are. We extend you a very warm welcome to yet another very powerful morning, afternoon, evening, whatever you want to talk it. It is 171st. That means 171. That is the webinar, Making Education Relevant, Global Confluence of the Educators in the Corporate. These are research scholars, innovators, skill developers, entrepreneurs, startups, micro, small, and medium enterprise, and employment generators. Ladies and gentlemen, this evening and this morning and this afternoon, whatever time zone you are in, wherever you are, we have got a very distinguished speaker this evening, and she is going to talk to all of us. Madam Namrata Mohan, she's a psychotherapist. She's the founder, Top Heals in Canada, based out of Canada, and she's going to talk to us on the mental health crisis in youth and what is the critical role of educators and education system, education fraternity. All the principals, all the headmasters, all the teachers, and whosoever is directly or indirectly associated with the education, including our students, those are watching. I know nowadays you enjoy coming directly live on the YouTube. Well, your choice, your happiness, whatever makes you happy, that makes us happy. So come on, Dr. Gulshan Sharma's YouTube channel. This program is live over there. So ladies and gentlemen, like you have got on the BBC, there is a program called Hard Talk. We have titled this program, this series, Making Education Relevant, but Soft Talk. Why do we call it a soft talk? Because everybody talks about soft skills. And what is soft skills? Etiquettes, manners, gesture, body language, articulation, communication skills, personality, personality development, personality enhancement, image management, whatsoever title you want to give, your choice is there. We are carrying out over here soft talk. So before I introduce my today's guest, there are a couple of slides I wish to share with all of you, because otherwise people will start telling me, what is the purpose of this program? Why are you having this program at 10 p.m. in India? Now, ladies and gentlemen, when we talk about relevant education bridges all the gaps. How it bridges all the gaps? Maybe through the skills, maybe through the competencies, maybe through empowerment programs, whatever is there, but we got to empower our youth as well as when we are going to empower the youth and educators, we will be empowering the future. Ladies and gentlemen, life can be tough because it's a corona, it's a pandemic, but we will overcome this also. Do remember 2008 crisis, the financial crisis, thereafter came Ola, thereafter came Uber, then you came Airbnb, and there were a couple of other projects which had come at that point of time. New Education Policy 2020 of India. I just wish to share with all of them and the world over that Government of India, Honorable Prime Minister of India, on 29th of July gave the green signal and the clearance to the new education policy. Now, this is a wonderful policy which has to be taken care of. Now, something very interesting has come. There are no tight compartments of arts, commerce, or science. The children, those are interested to take up a subject with science or commerce, they can take. If they want to take with arts, science subject, they can go for. If a science student is interested to take music as a topic or a subject, it will be counted as a proper subject. If a child who is in commerce and they're interested to get into fashion designing, they can take it up. That is something very interesting. So ladies and gentlemen, it's a new Bharat, it's a new India, it's tomorrow's India, it's a futuristic India, it's a futuristic thought what we have to take into consideration. And imagine the children, those will be studying in 6th class, they will start learning coding. And the computers will be the integral part, innovation, research, vocational, skills, and internship, going to corporate houses, that all will be the part of the education system. So when we are talking about it, the psychological well-being of every child has been taken into consideration, and this new policy is on the verge of getting implemented now. Our chamber, International Chamber for Service Industry, since 1994, is in the service and in collaboration and confluence of all the non-resident Indians world over. And today, when I share this platform with you, more than 12 lakh non-resident Indians are directly in touch with this chamber. And it's a proud privilege that in 1994, we started with Punjabi Parvasi Divas in India. And in 2003, then the Prime Minister of India, late Shri Atal Bihari Vajpayee ji, he decided, and there was a Bharatiya Parvasi Divas. Now, Punjabi Parvasi Divas coinciding with Punjabi's festival, that's a Lohri, on 13th of January, and near that, and Bharatiya Parvasi Divas coinciding with the return of Mahatma Gandhi ji from South Korea to India, that's 9th of January. At present, approximately 30 million plus Indians are abroad in different countries, in different parts, doing different things, lots of friends world over. Now, during this lockdown, ladies and gentlemen, we understand thought processes are affected, business is affected, physical and mental health is affected, and the main part of the universe is education is deeply affected. When we have gone through with the UNESCO, we learned 1.86 billion children are at present away from schools, colleges, universities, polytechnic institutions. We got to be taking care of all of them. And today's speaker and today's distinguished guest, she is going to talk to us what exactly must be going through the cerebrum and the mind of these children and how to overcome that. And once this corona comes, we come through this, then what would be the scenario and how we have to take care of all that. But from India, everybody believes in it's a Vasudev Kutumbakam. The whole world is one family. All of us, we are together. Wherever you are, your pain is our pain. Your pleasure is our pleasure. If you are happy, we are happy. And that's the way once the whole world starts thinking that we got to take care of others, ladies and gentlemen, there will be total peace in the world. There will be total harmony in the world. And we will not be spending money on arms and armaments. Rather, we would be spending on children, education and their development. Now, ladies and gentlemen, this is the new education policy. This is the new ladder. And this is the new system. It's a goodbye to the old academic. And this is the new education. When I talk about higher education, 100 top educational institutions from the world, they got to look towards India, setting up their campuses in India. That is coming through. At the same time, Indian government, under the leadership of Honorable Prime Minister and the Education Ministry, they want to get the best brain back to India. They should get their better salary, better packages. With them, they bring their networking, their knowledge, their expertise, and whatsoever they have got. Government of India is thinking very deeply, and our chamber is supporting that in a very big way in our own efforts. Now, 149 countries research which we have gathered, the next misunderstanding world over is going to be on water. The water shortage. Water conservation is very important. Each and every drop of the water, wherever you are, save water, save your own way, try and save the universe. Don't bring next third world war. Let's have peace in the world, and that is possible when we will be saving water. Dr. Barbara, my colleague who is joining us today and who will be proposing vote of thanks, she specializes on environment protection and a couple of other things related to that. Now, ladies and gentlemen, our chamber is also focusing on women empowerment. And when we talk about women empowerment, ladies and gentlemen, it's very, very important, which we have to understand. When you educate a male member, you educate individual. But when you educate a female child, you educate 7, 10 next generation, because she plays a very important role to take the whole legacy and the whole progeny further. Our chamber, from morning 9 till evening 9. Today is a very special day, that it is 10 p.m. past 10 minutes in India, and we are still intact with all of you, because it's a very special talk for all of us, and we are enjoying this wonderful thing. Also, I wish to share with all of us, those are joining world over, from tomorrow, the timings are going to be changed as far as our regular day-to-day, Monday to Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, all the days we come to you. So we are changing the timings from tomorrow, because the feedback which has come to us from all schools, colleges, universities, institutions, all the youth and all the teachers, because the IPL matches are going on and they want to watch the matches. So instead of 7 p.m. Indian Standard Time, from tomorrow onward, the program will be at 5 p.m. Don't forget to join us either live on the YouTube, because every day you have got new speaker, you've got new startups, you've got new stand-ups, you've got new creativity and collaborative efforts what we have got from the whole world. This is what we are sharing, the canvas. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, you've got a YES program. That's a youth empowerment strategies. Friday, we have got a complete program on Lord Buddha, 500 million plus people world over. What is Buddha's teaching and what is the relevance of Buddha's teaching in today's education system? Why should we know and why should we learn? Coming on Saturday evening, you will have Swami Vivekananda's teaching in education and youth empowerment. Don't forget, 11th of September, 1893, 127 years back, Swami Vivekananda on the soil of America. And when he had gone to Chicago and he told sisters and brothers of the universe, and when he stood over there, the entire thunder of clapping, that was Swami Vivekananda. So what is his teaching? What did he convey over there? Then comes Saturday. You have done enough of studies, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. And then comes Saturday. Saturday evening, your health, your wellness, your mental happiness, your physical happiness. So yoga, meditation, naturopathy, nutrition, organic, whatever, positive thinking, all the time positivity is very, very important for all of us. And then comes Sunday morning, and we take you to ancient India. We take you to heritage of India, Srimad Bhagavad Gita and 10 principal Upanishad. Right, live comes to you from California, from Los Angeles, from Burbank. Professor Satendra Dhiman comes live. He comes from the campus of the Woodbury University and he talks to us what is the relevance of these Upanishads and Srimad Bhagavad Gita in today's education. And then comes Sunday evening, we take you from India to ASEAN, 10 beautiful countries we have got over there: Myanmar, Cambodia, Laos, Singapore, Malaysia, Thailand, Indonesia, Philippines, Brunei, 650 million population. India, ASEAN trade when we talk about, and the focus is 8 beautiful states of Northeast India. And of course, Sunday evening, we talk about what do you want to do, why to take education, why to go to school, why to go to college, why to go to university, why to develop a particular skill or competency. So ladies and gentlemen, we talk about micro, small and medium enterprise. So this is the complete canvas of the ICSI, International Chamber for Service Industry. Should you have any suggestion, you're more than welcome to send us. We will take it. This is Lord Buddha's, and this is Swami Vivekananda's, and this comes over here, your health and wellness. Everything is being taken over here. And that comes Srimad Bhagavad Gita and India's Upanishads. And then of course, micro, small, medium enterprise, sector skill council, and the Ministry of Micro, Small and Medium Enterprise together. This is your India ASEAN journey, what we have got. Now, this is the research I wish to share with all of you. Ladies and gentlemen, under the entire confluence, Dr. Barbara, when she got the survey done from almost about 150 countries from the world over, and all the research when we gathered together and we carried out the synthesis, we found that the new order of the world would be, first of all, the B2B will not be known as business to business. It will be termed as and renamed as back to basics. That means at least for next 2 years, start thinking about it. You've got to get to the back to the basics of life. Your basic food, your health, and earn and learn. That part is very important. You have to take care of. This is something which we wish to convey to you from our chamber. This is the last slide. Whatever human mind can conceive and believe, ladies and gentlemen, it can achieve. That is something very important I wish to share with all of you. All of us, let's get together. Should you wish to be a panelist, should you wish to send any suggestion, innovation@icsi.asia. Do you want to talk to us on the WhatsApp? Both the numbers are listed over here. You're more than welcome, because we are reaching 1 million family through this network. And I'm so grateful to all of you. Those are joining us from the world over. Slowly and gradually, the family size is increasing, and every day more and more people are joining in this. And every evening we talk about, before the COVID, what the millennials were thinking. They were thinking life is fun, life is just to enjoy. And during the COVID, they have started thinking what would happen after the COVID, what are the opportunities, what will happen. But at the same time, this is an anxious generation. They believe a lot on the virtual world and they are technology reliant. That's what we have to talk about. But youth has got a lot of creativity. Youth, they want fun. They want happiness. All the time they want enjoyment. Education also has to be stimulating and rewarding. Why should I study? Why should I understand a particular subject? And three things they talk. And my mentor, when I talk about Les Brown, he says, whenever I listen to someone, I've got three questions. Who are you? What do you have? And why do I listen to you? So that means I got to take away something from you. That is something very important. So ladies and gentlemen, we got to listen to the voice of the youth. They are wonderful. What does youth want is very important for us to understand. And that's why every evening we get 5 girls from the world over. And they are the star of evening every day. And they talk, they share their vision, and they talk on what is the purpose of education? What is the role of technology in today's education? What does today's youth want? And how to create your dreams career and how to make education relevant to our day-to-day life. So ladies and gentlemen, with those words and with that kind of a slideshow, I just wish to bring right on the screen over here, let me extend a very warm welcome to our distinguished speaker, distinguished guest, and a celebrity of the evening. It is Madam Namrata Mohan. She's a registered psychotherapist and a founder of the Talk Heals Psychotherapy. She's an internationally trained psychologist and runs her private practice at Brampton, that is in Canada. Her journey is the field of mental health, which began more than a decade ago after attaining her master's degree in psychology. She began her career as a psychologist in India in 2007, and at that time, she also served as a consultant writer with English Daily in India. 7 years ago, she went to Canada, and therefrom she started this beautiful journey, what she is enjoying at present. She brings together a lot of perspectives of holistic wellness from both East and West together of the globe and has worked with diverse population and diverse issues. She supports people in healing and recover primarily from stress, depression, and anxiety. Everybody talks about it nowadays, and particularly during this pandemic where children are locked with their parents at home and teachers are also worried. In a digital way, they are imparting the education. They are also warriors like doctors, nurses, and paramedical. Under the umbrella of these 3 primary mental health issues, some of the areas she worked with includes, but are not limited to postpartum depression, post-partum depression, then burnout, low self-esteem, body image, low confidence, suicide prevention, strained marital relationship, pre-marriage counseling, divorce counseling. A lot of cases will come after this corona gets over. She provides services in English, Hindi, Punjabi, and Urdu, and her practice is informed from anti-racism and anti-oppression framework. Confidentiality, because one got to be confidential when you're dealing with somebody, and privacy are the core mandate of our practice. So ladies and gentlemen, nothing could have been more appropriate during this coronavirus and during this pandemic than to get this celebrity this evening with us, and she is going to share lots of vision with all of us. So I extend her a very warm welcome. I also extend a warm welcome from London to Dr. Barbara Mas. So, Madam Namrata Mohan, first of all,
thank you, Dr. Sharma.
Great welcome to you, hearty welcome to you, wonderful welcome to you. It's such a pleasure to have you with us. Let's first of all share how is your last 7-year journey in Canada? How are you finding? How is the local situation over there? Weather, climate, whatever you want to talk about. And thereafter, then we come to the global problems and difficulties and what we have got.
Absolutely. 7 years and before that it has been amazing. Like life is blessed, no complaints, no regrets, beautiful life. I still miss India. There's no doubt on that. But I love being here. I think the biggest blessing that I have here is having my two sons here and being able to help the community in terms of mental health, because I think the biggest shift that I enjoyed was coming from India to a place where mental health is actually recognized as a mental health and less stigmatized. I'm not going to say it's not stigmatized, but it's less stigmatized as compared to in India, because in India the whole notion is you seek therapy if you're crazy, though that notion still exists here in the generation who immigrated, let's say 20 years ago, 30 years ago. But the young generation is way more open. They are way more they don't stigmatize mental health. They understand the relevance. They understand the fee part of it. Like most of the times what was very disheartening from the older generation was, oh, why we have to pay? You're just talking, you're not even giving a medicine. So I think so that ways, and I think education system here really incorporates mental health in the most beautiful way, which I will talk as we go forward, that how they've incorporated and how what I am doing in terms of my role and capacity as a psychotherapist to work with educators. But yes, it's been a beautiful journey. Except winters of Canada, I love every bit of it.
Okay, except winters. Okay,
Harsh
they're very harsh.
winters.
They're very harsh. I know.
Very harsh, very long.
I
For
can.
someone coming from North India, I just don't like that harsh winters.
I know. I can understand. Okay, let's get to the now. First of all, in education system in Canada, how the
Yes.
mental health is incorporated. Please educate everybody because lots of people are watching from the different parts of the globe, and let's hear you.
Absolutely. So thank you each one of you who's out there, and I hope this is helpful for each one of you. So Dr. Sharma, when we talk about mental health, I think from kindergarten itself, they talk about emotions. Like the teachers ask on the first day that, okay, kids, how are you feeling? Identify an emotion. So I think I don't remember. It's sad, but don't remember growing up in India, being educated, starting my professional life. I ever heard this statement or anyone ever asked that, Namrata, what is the emotion that you're experiencing? Right? So I
Okay.
think kids here are very attuned to emotions. Yes, they can get into extremes, and those vulnerabilities do come with it. But I would rather go with these vulnerabilities than be blocking your whole emotional and mental health.
Okay. Okay.
So I think one and another beautiful thing is that not everything is anger, especially when it's negative emotion. We generally are always talking of that I'm angry. But here I see from kindergarten, they start telling, oh, maybe you're not angry, you're just resentful. Or maybe you're not angry, you're just irritated. And the way kids bring up these vocabularies, sometimes I'm taken aback that, oh, okay, so I have to answer this particular thing. So I think that is the most beautiful thing, that they start very early and they don't really go into saying directly mental health, but the way they incorporate is so subliminal and so much a part of their everyday curriculum.
Very nice, very nice. So, at present, during the pandemic, when we talk about because children are locked with their parents at home, they are away from schools. So,
Absolutely.
the other day, some of the principals they were laughing when I was talking to some school principal. They were laughing. I said, "Why are you laughing?" They said, "We are not principal now." I said, "Why?" They said, "No, no, no, no. Teachers are teaching and parents are watching. They are real principals and we are just observer because they are watching how this teacher is teaching, what is the method of teaching. Oh,
Absolutely.
this teacher has got a limited knowledge. This teacher has got very wide,
So true.
very good. So what do you feel at present? What is the scenario when 1.86 billion children at present away? I mean, so how do you look at it?
I don't know, hats off to all the educators and teachers who are doing it. Thank God I'm not in the profession anymore. I would have definitely quit. I don't think online thing is my cup of tea.
Okay, okay. But,
Uh,
but,
it it
but,
is
yeah,
very challenging for teachers right now because I think this whole shift. I'll talk about students, but since you talked about educators, I think it's very stressful for educators right now because gaining when as a teacher you're physically present with students in the class, you feel that you still have control over students. Online you technically have no control. Like I've heard stories where students, like especially the teenage students, they'll just turn off the camera and microphone, or they'll be chatting with each other, and the teacher doesn't even know this is happening because some of the teachers have been in field for, let's say, 25 years. They're like 50 plus. They're not so attuned to technology. So I think it's a very, very challenging time for educators. And you're right, the principals, they don't really feel like a principal right now. They
okay.
don't feel that power or authority. And I think another thing now, from students perspective, I think it's very if you leave the teenagers because they are more technology oriented, but I think for kids who are like 6 to say 10 years of age, I think they are really missing out on all the physical personal interaction happening in the class.
Okay.
Right? So I mean, like, you sitting, so let's say right now we are sitting here. If I were to sit here for, let's say, entire day, or let's say even 2 hours at a stretch and listen to it, and I see my classmates in those small boxes, my curiosity, because I'm a child, my curiosity is to tell my friend he's looking funny, or I want to talk to my friend something on the sidebar conversation. Now I can't have that. So I think kids are really losing onto that fun memories that we created in schools. Like I really had those memories for myself when teacher is teaching, and we would sneak in and eat our lunch, or we would sneak in and on write on paper to pass the communication. So
Okay.
those kinds of fun part. And I think as much as technology is easing it, it's also taking away from students.
Hmm.
So that in ways is kind of impacting because the energies are not getting channelized now,
Hmm.
because you're sitting in one place. In the school you're running, you're jumping around, you're being punished by the teacher. So those things are happening. Now you're just sitting here. The only punishment you get is by your parents because they are stressed out right now. They don't know what to do with their energies.
Yes, yes. So let's
So
let's take both the aspects. The thing is, technology we cannot stop. Technology will come. It was to come.
no,
No, no,
absolutely.
no, no. It was to come. It was to come in phases.
Yes,
It was to come after some time, but it has come like a
yes,
tsunami because of the COVID-19, right?
absolutely.
So,
I
so
am one of the victims of that tsunami.
okay. So it has got both the things has got merit and demerits. I mean,
Absolutely.
we got to take it, and whatever has come on our way, we got to accept it. And they say, na, if you get in life, what is your passion? It's good. But if you don't get something in what is your passion, then start enjoying what you have got in life. So
And I
today,
think it's very important what you're saying is absolutely correct, Dr. Sharma, that technology is inevitable.
yeah,
Like it is a part of us right now. We cannot not have technology. However, the only thing we can do is we can be mindful about technology.
okay.
We just need to be this side where we are in charge of the technology and not let technology take charge over us.
Okay, that is understood. So
And that is what is mostly happening with the youth right now, because of which there's this huge mental health crisis that is being seen and predicted and is in near future, and it's still happening. Right? I think it's just that because it's not super highlighted right now, it's still under the covers, so people are not really attuned to it.
mhm. I will not take elderly people into consideration at this point
Yeah,
of time, what difficulties they are experiencing during this
yeah,
COVID.
no, no.
But my concern is today kids. My concern is children of different
Yes.
age group. So as a psychologist, as a psychotherapist, what do you feel? First of all, let's analyze what all children must be going through. What all?
Oh, ask me about that.
What do you feel? What do you feel?
I will exactly tell you what kids told me, right? Because I work primarily starting from teenagers up to adults, right? So the little kids, I think one thing is that they feel lonely
Okay.
because they don't feel the sense of connection, right? Some of the kids, they were still in that process where they're building connections, and now because of the whole lockdown, they're stuck home, as you said, with parents and their siblings. So a lot of frustration is happening. They are tired. Now their energies are not being channelized. So when they try to bring that energy out, they get reprimanded by parents because there's only so much energy that parents can contain, right? Because, and also at this point, let me share with you this, that when I talk to kids, because they are underage, so I do have to talk to their parents as well. So parents have their own bag of emotions that are overflowing. And I had this one parent who were like, is there a institute where during lockdown we can leave our kids like a daycare? I was like, no, but why? He's like, I think I'll have to get rid of my furniture because I think it's broken, because they have boys and the boys keep jumping all day on that. She's like,
Okay.
I don't know what they were doing in school. They had gym to jump in, and now we don't have a gym at home.
Okay.
But the point is, kids need that energy to be released, so they will do something, right? Another thing that is happening right now with teenagers, especially, and the moving from teenagers to youth is a lot of anxiety is happening
Okay.
because some of the students, their admissions were due. A lot of students who'd applied overseas, their offer letters are in their hand, but due to either the country is not allowing travel or the parents are very worried. I know a particular student who's accepted in 3 universities in states, and like in the first go without any support, and now parents are not letting him go because they are concerned about the numbers in states, right? So that leads to a lot of anxiety, frustration, and all that is kind of leading into depression. And during this whole time, another unfortunately things that have risen is number of deaths by suicide among youngsters.
Very sorry to hear that. Do you feel
Yes,
that?
it's
Do
very
you feel that?
sad. And
Do you feel
sorry.
that during Corona it has increased? Do you feel so?
Well, I wouldn't give my personal thought on that, but I know that, from the research that is coming in, because it's still unfolding. So we don't really have too many numbers and research on that because it's still an unfolding situation. But
Okay.
yes, in general, they say that, that youngsters, because they were all, as you said in the beginning of your slides, that all youth understand or understood was that life is to be enjoyed and have fun,
Yeah.
and they don't know now what to do. They can't have parties like in Ontario where I am. They had allowed, gathering up to 100 people outside, 50 people indoors, and youngsters went crazy partying. And the cases of COVID, where they had come down to 80, started getting up to now we have 400 in a day. And the premier has put everything back. You can't have more than 10 people inside the house and 25 outside. And for youngsters, that number is too low to have a party.
Okay. 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 Because
So, and then a lot of career confusion as well, I believe.
okay, there's a career
Yes.
confusion also. Okay.
Yes, a lot of career confusion.
Uh, Now let's start because today you are giving a free advice without charging anything. So thereby, let me take as much advice as possible. So
Absolutely, my
let,
pleasure.
let me start from the different age group. Okay.
Yes, please.
So let's start first to fifth standard. The children
Right.
are at home with their parents. What parents
Yes.
should do? What parents should do? Children
Okay, first
are
of
home.
all, parents need to stop stressing out
Okay.
about their home being cleaned.
Okay.
You cannot have a clean home when you have little kids in the house. Don't worry about toys being around, and like, because this is, I think, a huge thing when I work with, especially not only with kids, with their parents, and especially mothers. I think they are so used to their home being so neat and clean that now all of a sudden it is like you have monsters in the house all around.
Okay. Okay.
Right?
So
So I think one that, but also for the kids, please create an environment where their energies can get channelized. So it's not only about the school that they're attending online, wherever in the world the kids are attending schools or online schools. I would say that let them be active participants in household chores.
okay.
Kids have immense capacity. They understand it very well. So let them clean the house, let them fold their laundry, let them put that away, because now I think it's the best time. And as I said, that, you have to look the positive side. This is the best time to get your kids to understand the work that you do at home.
Okay, okay. Because so they
And also,
watch you. They will watch you. Yeah, okay.
because usually what happens is, like, a lot of places, kids just feel that this happens, like house is always clean. They don't know who does it. Maybe it's a genie, or it's Siri who comes and do it, or it's Alexa who does it. I don't know. Right? And so I think this time, unfortunately, we are in this time, but then let's make the best of it. This is an amazing time to make your kids and induce that sense of responsibility and ownership, right? Include them into financial matters. Like, I think one thing that a lot of people and the entire world is realizing right now is that they were not financially very wise, I would say, right? A lot of people would say that, oh, we were making so much money, and now, everything seems like coming down the hill, it's all going, we don't have anything. And that is again another whole story of what it is doing to adults. But I think if you can start teaching financial literacy to your kids now during this pandemic, let them be a part of budget making, let them understand this. And Dr. Sharma, I was amazed to see how much beautiful inputs kids can give you about life, about wisdom. We just underplay kids.
Yes, yes, absolutely, absolutely wonderful. I don't know all of a sudden how this thing has come out. Everybody is talking about now, and the new education policy also, which is coming in India. Everybody is
Yes.
talking about let's give a financial literacy to all children. This
Yes.
has come all of a sudden, and this is something very interesting. You know.
Yes, it is. And I think the reason is that all of a sudden people thought that, oh my God, we were earning so much, but now that we've been hit by this unprecedented times, we don't have that. Because lifestyles were up here, incomes were up here, and now incomes are here, but lifestyle is still here.
Yeah, so one got to
Right.
realize that how to do budgeting.
Exactly.
So let me move first to fifth we have covered. Now let's come sixth, seventh, and eighth.
Oh God, this starts getting difficult.
Because okay, we can go up to 12th also, but I just thought let's put
No,
three
no, no,
different
you're right. You're right. There's nothing wrong with that.
three
So
different
I think
tracks.
with this age group from 6 to 8, and as you mentioned earlier, that as per the new education policy, kids are from the age of from the sixth grade onwards, they can be choosing things for themselves. So I think one, parents, I'm sorry, parents, the one who are listening, but right now, parents really need to educate themselves, because you're going to be confronted by questions from your kids, right? So parents being, because when they are younger, they ask you questions about life, why Superman is flying and why this is happening. You can still manage that. But once they come like grade 6, 7, 8, they start feeling that they're grown up, and now they hear news and stuff like that, like about the education policy. They will come to parents to ask that, like, what is, I want to participate in coding, and parent is like, what is coding? Right?
Yeah.
So I think that parents really need to make sure that they are well educated about what is going on around the world. Technology, I would say, please, parents, pull up your socks. Even if you have to go and take extra classes at night, please do that. You have to match up, because I think another, jokes apart, but this whole, technology is a different world, and so much is happening inside. Parents sometimes tell me that, oh no, my kid doesn't talk to anyone outside, he just plays on his iPad. It's not a just play on the iPad, because iPad is a whole universe in itself. You don't know who your child is talking to. There's so much cyberbullying happening, right? There is so much human trafficking happening online, right? There is so much violence that is being infused in kids mind. Lot of games which are kind of putting kids to test and prove themselves by completing tasks, which unfortunately tends to be ending in their fatalities, right? So I think that 6 to 8th grade, like, is a very crucial stage where parents need to really be educating themselves.
Very nice. Very good. Very well said. Very well said. I'm so happy. Now let's come to ninth, 10th, 11th, and 12th. Let's come to
Okay.
Okay.
Parents need to move out of the house.
Parents got to move out of the house. Okay. Let that be.
Now parents are done. They should just move out. No. So now I think now whatever we did with the parents of age grade 1 to 5 and 6 to 8, in addition to everything from that, parents need to be very open minded, number one, very comfortable, number two, and number three, try and put that whole hat of authority aside for some time.
Okay.
Because when you're dealing with teenagers, in general, teenage is very difficult age and stage to be in for children themselves. They go through so much hormonal changes, physiological changes, emotions are skyrocketing, and then they believe they're grown-ups, right? Because also I think as parents, be mindful that a lot of times as parents, we tell our kids, oh, you're grown up, don't do this, or don't talk back to me, you're a child. So we're confusing those kids. We let them grow up and we make them child as per our convenience.
Yes.
Right? So that is very important that, be very clear, make things clear for your teenager, and be okay to answer. Like that answering is very important, that, if your child comes and asks you that, why can I not be a hairdresser? I want to be a hairdresser. Like saying that, oh, that is not a part of our culture, that doesn't happen in our family, that's not an answer. Right? So be prepared to give answers. They are teenagers, they need answers, they want to make a career. Just because everybody in your family has been a doctor or engineer, that should not be a burden on your child to carry on the legacy.
Excellent.
Right? And that is why, because of this whole hypocrisy, double standards, it's not easy for parents too to carry. Like they'll come in, they'll tell the kids, oh, you can't do this, this profession is not nice. But then when the kid is gone, they'll both talk, you know what, actually, it's much easier, if we could just let him do. Well, that is what you need to tell your kid. You don't need to talk amongst yourself.
Uh, yes.
Right? So I think those are the very important, and because that is a very crucial stage for teenagers. If you don't, as parents, tell them the correct thing, they will go outside and get an incorrect information.
Absolutely. Very nice. Very nice. Excellent. And now let's move to college.
Ah,
Let's move to
this is
college.
a good thing. I like college and university. By now, they are not so rebel. Now they've calmed down. Their biological emotions are kind of contained. Hormones are much more contained. Now they can actually, parents can actually start having conversations about career. Because so far, when they were teenagers, you were talking about the courses, about the subjects. As a child, as a ninth grade old, like I was talking with somebody and who was saying that, oh, I wish, at that time I understood. I was so passionate about automobiles. I would have gone in automobile designing. I didn't know at that time. Right? So now you can be talking about subjects, but your kids, just because they've taken subject doesn't mean they understand a career. It's very different. Like I had somebody who's planning to take on psychology and she's interested in mental health, and her mother said that, okay, why, how about you talk to her? So I was talking to her, and then she was asking me, what do you do? So it's, you just talk, right? It's so interesting, you talk to people. I'm like, yes, you talk, but then there's a lot of clinical work that goes. And once I was able to walk her through the whole traumatic part, how you deal with suicide intervention, she's like, and she started crying. I'm like, why are you crying? She said, but that is sad. I said, yes, but that's my job. She's like, so why are you not sad? I said, I said, because that's who I am and that's why I am in the profession. So you have to, by the time kids get to that college and university time, I'm going to combine this, Dr. Sharma, college and university together, because now kids are ready to make career choices and understand that, just because you like a career does not mean you're going to be good at it. You also have to understand your personality, that you have education, you are good at it, but do you have a personality to be there? Right? So I think that is active role of parents, where they can help their kids identify professionals. So let's say if a child says, I can be either a lawyer or a journalist. So as parents, encourage your children to talk to few lawyers to understand actually what the work looks like, and talk to journalists to understand what the actual work looks like, not outside glamour world. People say journalism is glamour. Trust me, my dad is a journalist. It's not glamour at all.
Yes, yes. Lot of hard work. Lots of
It's
hard work.
very different. Yes, you enjoy privileges, but then it doesn't come free of cost.
Yes, it's a lot of hard work. Lots of hard work.
Yes, yes,
So now let's come on to little further. The kids, those have done college, those have
yes.
done university, but they are not interested to do anything.
Well, so when you say that, is it about that they don't want to make a career, or they are not clear about career?
They just want to relax, like it happens particularly in couple of so-called well-established families. I do not
Okay.
I do not want to name the cities and all. It won't be appropriate
No,
on
no,
my
I
part.
know what you're talking. So I understand,
They,
right? I think
they want,
one thing is that there's nothing wrong in relaxing, first of all, right? However, there has to be a timeline. You can't be relaxing throughout your life without making a life for yourself,
okay,
right? So sometimes, the reason, so I think actively as parents, they have to first identify the reason that why your child wants to relax infinitely, right? Because let's say a child says that, okay, I started my school in kindergarten and now I have attained my PhD. I need a break. That is fair. That makes sense, right? But if you've been dropping out of school for 2 years, then you went back college, you dropped off, then you finally, like, parents pushed you, somehow you completed your university, and now you again want to take a break. I think it was time for parents to reflect it sooner, that what is it that's going wrong. Maybe your child is really not interested in that education the way you are providing, or the way you are saying. So sometimes, especially in India, I've grown up there, I've been there, there's a lot of emphasis on this whole traditional educational piece, and a lot of parents are not very open to vocational side of it, and they believe that, oh, you can't start a career after grade 12, you have to complete your education. Probably your child is not really attuned towards academia, but they are more attuned towards actual practical hands-on work, right? So I think just trying to open up your mind about, what is it my child needs. And I think from what you said, Dr. Sharma, the most important and interesting thing that a parent can do for their children in this situation is, please go and talk to a professional. Because end of the day, sometimes kids develop so much resentment towards and rebelliousness towards parents, that because they can't think clear, they're youngsters, right? Sometimes they get rebellious, they don't want to think. Parents said, take up a job, I'll do anything, but I'll not take a job, right? So this is the time for a professional intervention. Let go, speak to a counselor, let a therapist talk to your child to understand what's happening. Because whatever a child will tell the therapist or the counselor, they'll never tell the parent.
okay. Let's take one
I
situation.
hear so many stories from youngsters where they are telling that how they hold their parents responsible for their present, and parents have no clues about it, right? So that is where the professional help would come in.
Okay, let's take a situation. There is a family during this
Yeah,
COVID-19, during this pandemic or otherwise. There's a
right.
family, and there are two kids or there are three kids in one family, and kids are grown up, and now is the time in a traditional family they will think about, because
Mm-hmm.
some of the principals and some of the director and vice chancellors, they talked with me. Now let's take it that these three kids, because we all are individual, we all are different, our temperaments, our intellectual capital, our cerebrum, our thought processes, we all are different.
Yes.
There is one child who works whole day, very a lot of hard work, right?
Yes.
Very sincere. There's a second child who comes at the end of the day and he asks that person, oh, what are you doing? He says, well, you can't see that I'm working, and you're working since morning. Very good. So then he tells something, and this guy who's working since morning, he realizes, why this idea didn't come to me? That person tells only one idea, And that
Yes.
idea is equivalent to 1 week hard work of this person who had been put
Yes.
in physical labor. And
Yes.
then there is a third child. There's a chalo, third child we'll take later on. First of all, let's analyze the psychology of these two kids. What is to be done? He says, look, you are donkey. You're working since morning till evening. You have been working. Go and tell dad what you're doing. It's not required. What is required, you are not doing. Go with the time. Technology has changed. This is the information. This is the new thing which has come in the market. This is the new gadget which has come in the market. You have not
Right.
utilized it. So the perception of both of theirs towards life is altogether different.
Yes.
How do they match with each other, and how parents accept both of them, because one is working hard and the other one has given one idea which nobody got it in the family,
Well, my question would be, Dr. Sharma, why would you want them to match their personalities? They're different.
because they are under one roof and they are being observed and watched by everybody in the family.
And
And
I
the,
think that's exactly where we kind to so I think that's where we tend to go wrong. We expect that because we are all in the same family, we all should be thinking, behaving, and acting alike.
but how would you make three
And
generations
this
understand?
that
How do you make three generations understand? Grandmother is also there, mother is also there, child is also there.
yes.
How would you make them
Well,
understand?
I think if we all can only understand, okay, I think the answer is that only if we all can understand ourselves, we'll be able to understand others.
Okay.
We are too focused on understanding others, that he's doing that, she's doing that. My child is not listening to me. The question is, are you listening to yourself?
Okay. So
Right? So we
that
have to understand that each child in the same family can be very different and poles apart, yet they both will have their own strengths. Just because one is street smart does not make him better than the other. So I think just as a parent or as an educator, that's where we were talking about role of educators and education, that being able to, so first, be aware of yourself, understand who you are and who you're not, what your ethics are, what your ethics are not, and then being able to identify that how do I help a child, a student who's not street smart like 10 other kids, is quiet, is hardworking, but I feel that this child will be left behind. So what do I do to support that child now?
okay. Okay. So let's get back to the whole situation now, because school principals are also watching, college principals are also watching, teachers are also watching, and some of the youth are also watching, and some of the parents are also watching this program. Let's get on to at present, the present scenario, and how do you see the future now post COVID? How do you see?
I think post COVID, we, in terms of, education and youth and everybody, I do foresee that some, right now, I see a lot of anxiety, confusion, right? But post COVID, I think first year, like let's say if things start normalizing in few months, I think that first year is going to be little different. I wouldn't say difficult, but different. But following that, I see very positive trend. Because right now, one thing that people have really realized is, one, it's not so good staying home all the time. Number two, people have already overdosed of each other. They've had too much connection with each other, so they don't need it for long, so they can focus on themselves. And third, people have kind of realized that everything is so uncertain that we can't let waste our life.
Okay.
Right? So I think if we are able as parents, as educators, or as students who are watching this, if you've realized that this year has been confusing and everything, so just be aware that once this all comes to an end, what is it that you're willing to do, and use this time to enhance yourself, your skills, your hobbies, your interests. You want to lose weight, this is the best time. Nobody's seeing you, you're not going out anywhere.
Okay, that's lovely. And let's look at one situation, something very important which is coming to my mind. Okay, this question I take later, but let me analyze and give a different scenario altogether. Uh, Children Okay, now parents, because gadgets and all that also is to be taken into consideration. 70% children whose survey we have carried out, they are very
Yes.
happy. They are very happy. The gadgets they have got, the seamless connectivity they have got. So they are
Yes.
extremely happy. I mean, say, if we say, I do not know how teachers would feel about it and how principals would feel about it, but majority of the children, they are enjoying. They're very happy. They're not feeling about it. They rather say, earlier they were telling don't touch mobile. Now they're telling touch mobile, at least touch mobile for some time. At the same time,
Of
uh,
course, kids are loving it.
yeah. Secondly, the scenario when I look at 30% parents in America have already decided post COVID, they're going to have homeschooling. They're not going to send children outside. They're not going to send.
Yep.
And you say that we can nourish them, we can develop them, we can skill them much better than that is another scenario. The third scenario which is taking place, 11 million plus girls have already decided to drop out from institutions post COVID because of various reasons.
Mm-hmm.
Now, another challenge is that there is so much of digital divide world over. People, those
Yes.
in cities, those have got better connectivity, those have got equipment. That scenario is altogether different. But
Yes.
children, who do not have correct connectivity, so we are already approaching to the respective government in the countries that don't
Right.
spend on physical infrastructure. Now you spend money on digital infrastructure. And
Right.
at the same time, if you want to assist somebody, and I've told my non-resident Indians also world over that don't focus on anything else, just spend the money, do the hand holding now for the educational institutions under CSR activity. Even if you want to do something in your own village, your own block, in your own town, so help children to get seamless connectivity, some basic equipment, some basic apparatus, so that you can study well. Because world will never get back to what it was in January and February. We
No,
got to move
doesn't seem
ahead.
like at this point.
Yeah, so we got to move ahead now. And once
Yes.
you get used to a particular thing, now I'm going to say I don't know how the economy is going to work on to. All the aircrafts are being parked, all the vehicles are being parked, oil is
Yep.
oil is not being consumed. So when you look at a scenario sending your child school, you're worried about whether the child had reschooled properly or not, whether he
Hmm.
or she has got back from the transport down in the school, what is going on there. Till the child come back, your heartbeat always goes up. But
Yes.
now your child is before your eyes and you can develop your child your own way. And that education particularly is becoming more transparent in a way. Before industrial era, what was the education? Before industrial era, I mean, we are telling send to school, sit on the benches, and all those kind of things. I don't know. I'm sorry to say that the grown-up children might be missing their boyfriend and girlfriend. But if you talk about otherwise, they are not missing education. Let's talk about it. I don't know how many are missing education. I don't know.
I wouldn't agree with that. I would like to differ a bit in that opinion. The
Okay.
one I agree, yes, they're missing their boyfriend, girlfriend. That I agree. But I do agree that they are still missing out that whole in-person classroom interaction. Because here there was a time even before COVID hit in Ontario, the premier said that high school students, which is like grade 10, 11, 12, they can take some courses online that will kind of save in terms of education infrastructure. And the kids protested. They're like, no, we don't want to do that. We want to come in person to school. We want to have a teacher in person. So I think it's a very, very individual choice. Yes, kids are happy with the technology that they have more access to, but not necessarily that they don't want to return to classes. There could definitely probably be a lower percentage who wants to return, but there is still a percentage, because it's not only about coming and learning in the class, it's about an overall mental growth of a child, of a teenager, right? That social support that they get when they come together in person as opposed to being online.
Okay.
I'm
Yes,
sorry, Dr. Sharma, but I just want to say here that I do have some little time left because I do have another meeting scheduled.
your closing remarks.
Okay. My closing remarks. One, thank you for this privilege, this honor. And I really hope that, like we can talk about it for like, I would love to talk on this subject. It's such a passionate subject for me that I can talk, but I just realized I didn't see the time. I do have another meeting.
Okay.
But I think I would say that right now, hats off to teachers who are doing such a wonderful work, right? Please make sure as educators, watch out, and as parents, watch out for your kids' mental health signs. Do you see them too withdrawn? Do you see them spending too much time on their device? And when you go, they kind of flip it, or they kind of do some activity, or they just get startled that you came, or they're not talking to you. Don't ignore these signs. They need support sometimes. Youth cannot just come up front and talk to you. They need a lot of probing in a very comfortable situation. I know we couldn't get so much to that aspect today, but probably we can do that another time. I would love to do that. But I would be very happy if there are any questions. We can spend some another 5-7 minutes if there are any questions.
Dr. Barbara, Dr. Barbara, are you there? Oh, London
Yes,
people
I
are.
am.
Yeah.
Yes, I am. Hello.
Yeah. You got
Hi, Dr. Barbara.
you're going to propose the vote of thanks for Namrata, and few words from your side if you overheard the conversation.
Yes, absolutely. I was very impressed with your practical approach and
Yes.
want to thank you for that, for this practical advice which everybody can use.
My pleasure.
Thank you so much. From teaching
Thank
children, I mean, and it's applicable everywhere to children and parents everywhere around the world. So whoever is listening can use what you've just told us, from, giving children financial training, learning how to deal with money, to involving them in the care of the home, to being watchful about their use of electronics and keeping their feet grounded in reality, in the real world, while coping in a responsible way, not in an escape way, with the options that modern technology provides today. And I also, I was very impressed with this, and I wish that we could all carry you in our pockets and draw expertise on a regular basis. So thank you on behalf of the Institute for your fantastic insights. And I'm sure all the Indian colleagues in India who have listened, it's very late, have been able to carry something away from this and take something away from this. You've enriched us. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Barbara. Such a pleasure hearing from you. Thank you so much, Dr. Sharma, and hope to stay connected.
Yes, yes. Thanks a lot. Thank you very much. On some other occasion, we will take some more questions. But finally, just I leave in my mind what used to happen before industrial era, when these four walls classrooms were not there, when these brick rooms were not there. What kind of an education? Because that education was more scientific, that education was more personal, that education was more rewarding, that education was more realistic, that education was with more values, that education carried culture, social norms, couple of other things.
Absolutely.
Not education only as an economic activity. So keeping all that in mind, our deep gratitudes and thanks to you for being with us today. So ladies and gentlemen, world over, wherever you are, thanks for joining. Thanks for wonderful timings. So green morning, green afternoon, green evening, and green good night to everybody, wherever you are world over. Thanks a lot. Thank you very much. Look forward meeting you on some other occasion. And all the best for your coming days. May God bless your family. May God bless your small kiddies. And may God bless your hubby.